I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Market News, here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending April the 18th, where you had feeder cattle and calves throughout most of the country selling mostly steady to $2 lower. The only exception being in the southeast on your lightweight calves for order. They traded mostly steady to $2 higher with quite a bit of help from local demand and not so much from the order buyers. But record prices on all your feeder and stocker cattle have really leveled off the last couple of weeks. The fed cattle market's starting to struggle to hold its ground, and we know it's going to dip a little bit over the next few months. And your more aggressive stocker orders have now been filled. Most of your major grazing regions, like your Flint Hills, Osage regions, your foothills of the Rockies, they like to get those cattle turned out about April the 15th. So most of those guys that are really serious about it have already filled those orders, have those cattle ready to go and turned out. So we're not going to see a lot of push on that from here on out. But our receipts are declining rapidly at the same time, which could hold the market prices fairly constant. But like a 6-weight steer, stocker type grass steer that's been so highly sought after the last several weeks, there were several auctions in and around the midsection of the country this week that saw those cattle selling as much as $10 lower, or maybe even $15 lower. But a lot of people thought those cattle were probably $30 too high compared to everything else over the last 6 weeks as everybody was getting their grass cattle put together. But the receipts are going downhill fast. A lot of places are already going to their summer schedules. Places in Nebraska, Colorado's gone to their summer schedule. And they're doing that a few weeks ahead of schedule because the market's just been so good. We've just pulled the cattle ahead and pulled them ahead and selling little bitty light calves weighing in the 2s and 3s. And we're just out of cattle. And during the month of March, and we're going to see a cattle on feed report here next week, but during the month of March, your nationwide auction receipts were about 4% less than the same time a year ago. Whether placements will be similar to that, I don't know, but gives you an idea. But 4% lower than a year ago. But probably this year's March offering included more of the available spring supplies than it has for a long, long time. But still good markets around Pratt, Kansas at the auction there. They had a string of 94 head of thin flesh steers weighing 831, bring $180.85. And we're starting to see fewer of those really good yearlings around, but your major cattle feeders are already looking out into the pasture areas and looking for to put contracts on these grass yearlings coming off on the same cattle that are just now being turned out. And they want to get as many of those tied up as they can because those are the cattle that they really like to feed. The more of those they can get bought up right now and get contracted and know they're going to have those cattle, the better. The guys that are selling them, they're looking at that kind of favorably too, because that market's looking pretty good, and if they have adequate moisture and those cattle perform like they're supposed to, they can make money. But there's not a lot of care on those cattle. You basically turn them out and they do what they do. You drive by them, maybe put some salt and mineral out once in a while, but that's about it. But a lot of the guys do like to go ahead and contract those cattle early so they don't have to sweat the market. They don't have to worry about playing the board or doing anything like that. But like last year during the fall season, that market just went straight up right through shipping season, all through the end of the summer and into fall, and a lot of guys left money on the table. So be interesting to see what they do this time. Fed cattle market was 1 to 2 lower on light trade, 146 in the south, 148 up north, and 238 to 240 dressed. This week's regional weighted averages in the north central states: 7-weight steer average 187.73 compared to 188.32 last week and 135.99 a year ago. Down in the south central states, a 6-weight steer cost you 192.69 compared to 196.47 last week and 143.19 a year ago. Down in the southeast, a 5-weight steer cost you 202.47 compared to 201.82 last week and $140.66 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder and stocker cattle market summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.